I want you all to be able to jump on an existing move. And while you all know this, all right, it's still worth mentioning for you. So if you think about the cornerstone of my method, how I teach you to trade, a big part of it is finding turning points, right? So you find something like this, like you go to a QCOM and you're looking at something like, okay, look, you're coming down to a prior low. Here's a potential market law number 4. Boom. Green takes out red, stop under the low. You're finding a turning point. You see? Becomes something like this. Move up, drop back, stay in the top 50% of the last move up. Okay? Green takes out red, stop. Okay? You're finding the turning point. What's the turning point? Drop, turn. Drop, turn. All right? That's the hallmark of my method. But there's also another part of my method. How do you jump on board an existing move? So I remember Jorge was mentioning this PayPal here. I said, listen, be careful here because you're off the lows and you're at new high territory. So if you bought the turns here, so if you bought this market law number 4 and gave it a shot, or even this bull 180 on the pullback, you'd be taking profits here. But how would you jump on board to give it a shot? You've got to find a moment that's low risk. That low risk moment is usually RBI. You see? If you want to try to give it a shot. In an existing move where you have missed the turning point, you still have an opportunity. But you want very low risk. All right? You take a Starbucks, or let me draw this out for you. You missed maybe, check this out. You missed this buy, green taking out red here. You missed it and the bar turns out to be an elephant. How do you still jump on board that? Well, what if there's a little pause bar here? Now you turn this. You can turn this into a low risk play. You can go with the stop here, which is not terribly wrong, but if you wanted a low risk play, your play has got to be this. This has got to be your risk unit. So you missed this point, but you're jumping on board the existing move, finding a low risk entry point. So there are 2 parts to the method overall. All right? You understand? There are 2 parts to the method. There's finding the turning point and jumping on board an existing move. You may have missed a turning point or may have decided to bypass the turning point and wait for one of the lower risk moves. So here's a good way of looking at it. Oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes, right, the low risk move, the turning point, let me start again. most of the time, the turning point is going to be higher risk. Take Microsoft as an example. Here's a turning point. This is higher risk. Bottoming tail bar. Green is taking out the bottoming tail bar. Boom. Your stop is supposed to be under the bottoming tail bar. All right. That turning point is a higher risk turning point. Okay. If you're catching the elephant bar, that's usually a turning point of some type. And your risk is bigger. But the jump on board, the ongoing move is a smaller risk. Do you understand what I'm trying to communicate to you? There are two major parts to the whole approach that I teach you. Now, here's something else I need you to understand. It's not that the jump on board the existing move is better than the turning point because it's smaller risk. Don't go that far. They both play an integral part in an approach. But you have to begin to understand which trader are you better at. You see, even though the turning points might be higher risk, you might be a better turning point trader. You might be a better I wait for the secondary ongoing play strategy. And there's two. There's narrow range bar and there's RBI, GBI. See, a narrow range bar doesn't mean, so let me give you an example of a narrow range bar play. Here was your turning point. And here is kind of like a narrow range bar. That's not an RBI, but you're going to buy above the narrow range bar with a stop. Now that's not an RBI, but it's almost the same because the purpose of an RBI is just the stock gets to have a pause. So whether the pause is red or green, it really at the end of the day doesn't really matter that much. That would be an RBI, and the green would just be a pause. Both are pauses. So in the NVIDIA, this is the RBI version. All right, after the turn. Okay. Someone's saying, is it like C? Let me see. Yes, so this would be your pause if it takes out this high. But you need the pause bar to be complete. Don't be trying to get fancy and anticipate what you think is going to be a pause, because if you play this too soon, this could turn out like that, right? You have to have a completed pause bar. The bar must finish as a pause bar, and then you buy above the finish pause bar.